I've been a firefighter for 12 years, and there are certain calls that stick with you. Calls you can't drink away, can't sleep off, can't laugh about with the guys in the station. Most of them involve kids. If you talk to any firefighter long enough, you'll hear that same refrain. Adults are one thing, but kids. They burn a hole in you that never closes. But there was one call that still feels different. Not because of the fire itself, but because of what happened inside that house. And every time I drive past that block, I still slow down, like my body remembers even if my mind tries to shove it away. It was a little after midnight when the alarm came in. Residential structure fire. Possible entrapment. That last word always jolts the adrenaline. Entrapment means someone's still inside. Someone's waiting on you. We rolled out fast me, my partner Diaz, and the rest of Engine 47. The neighbourhood wasn't far. One of those older parts of town where the houses are close together and the streets are too narrow for big rigs. I remember the way the smoke curled up into the sky before we even turned the corner. It wasn't heavy black smoke, the kind that tells you the fire's already swallowed everything. It was grey, lazy, drifting. That meant the fire was still growing. That meant maybe we still had a chance. We jumped out, masks on, tools ready. The family was outside, Mom, Dad, 2 kids clutching each other, barefoot in pyjamas, eyes wide and glassy. The mother was screaming, my baby's still inside." My heart sank. It was the 3rd child, the youngest, maybe 2 or 3 years old. She'd been asleep in her crib when the fire started. We don't think in moments like that. Training takes over. Diaz and I went in through the front door. Heat smacked me in the face. Smoke rolled low. I could hear the fire chewing through the back of the house, but the living room still held together. We crouched low, scanning, searching. "Back left bedroom!" the mother screamed from outside. We made our way down the hall, crawling. I remember the wallpaper bright yellow flowers, already peeling from the heat. I remember the hiss and crackle of the fire, the way it sounded almost alive. We reached the room. The crib was there, against the wall. The fire hadn't reached it yet, but smoke had. Thick, choking. I shined my light and saw her. Tiny, curled up, not moving. I scooped her up, wrapped her in my jacket, and we moved. Fast. Every second in that place felt like the difference between life and death. Diaz was yelling something, but my ears were ringing too much to catch it. We stumbled out into the night air, and the mother rushed forward, screaming, grabbing for her baby. Paramedics pulled her aside, started working on the little girl right there on the lawn. And then something strange happened. I swear on everything I have, that as I set her down, I felt her grip my finger. Just a little squeeze. Just for a second. But when the medics took over, they shook their heads. "She's gone," one of them muttered. "No pulse, no breath." They worked on her anyway, like they always do, because you never stop until you're sure. But after 15 minutes, they called it, I remember the mother's scream. It wasn't human. It was like something ripped out of her. The father just collapsed, face in his hands. I stood there, staring at my glove, at the spot where I swear I felt her squeeze my finger. Diaz pulled me back toward the truck. "Come on, man. We did what we could." But I couldn't shake it. Not then, not now. And that wasn't even the part that still keeps me up at night. The fire was under control within the hour. Crews worked the hoses, knocked down flames, overhauled the structure. For everyone else, it was just another job, another house fire in a long list of them. But for me, the night wasn't over. I kept replaying that moment in my head, the little squeeze on my finger. Maybe it was just a twitch, a muscle spasm, a reflex. That's what the rational part of my brain kept telling me. But it hadn't felt like that. It felt deliberate. The next morning, back at the station, I sat at the kitchen table with a cup of coffee going cold in my hands. The guys were talking, laughing, already moving on. That's how it works. You compartmentalize, you joke, you push it down. If you carry every call, you don't last long in this line of work. But I couldn't let it go. Diaz sat across from me, chewing a bagel, watching me. Finally he said, "You're still thinking about the kid." I nodded. "Listen," he said, lowering his voice. "You did your job. You went in, you got her out. That's all anyone can ask. What happens after? That's not on us." I wanted to believe him. But the image of her tiny hand, wrapped around my finger, wouldn't leave me. It wasn't just the death. It was the sense that something happened in that moment, something I couldn't explain. Later that week, we were called to the same block. Not for a fire this time, but for a gas leak in a neighbouring house. As we walked past the burned-out home, I slowed down. The windows were boarded up. The blackened frame of the house sagged inward. And for a second, I thought I heard something. A baby crying. It was faint, muffled, almost like it was coming from inside the house. I froze, my body reacting before my brain caught up. "Diaz," I said, "did you hear that?" He looked at me, confused. "Hear what?" I didn't answer. I just stood there, staring at the charred walls, listening. The sound faded as quickly as it came, leaving only silence. I told myself it was in my head. Stress, lack of sleep, trauma playing tricks on me. But deep down, I wasn't sure. A week later, the department had us attend the little girl's funeral. It's not required, but some of us go when the family asks. I almost didn't, but something pulled me there. The service was small. The mother clutched a stuffed animal against her chest the entire time, her knuckles white. The father looked 10 years older than he had that night. When the casket was brought forward, I had to look away. It was too small. No casket should ever be that small. After the service, as people filtered out, the mother came up to me. Her eyes were red, her face hollow, but she held my gaze. "You were the one who carried her out," she said. I nodded. "Yes, ma'am." She touched my arm, gentle. "Thank you for bringing her to me, for not letting her die alone." I didn't know what to say. I wanted to tell her about the squeeze, about how, in that moment, I thought her daughter had been alive, even if just for a heartbeat. But the words stuck in my throat. Instead, I just nodded again, and she walked away. That night, back at the station, I dreamed of smoke, of flames, of walking down that hallway again, only this time, when I reached the crib, it was empty. And from somewhere in the dark, I heard the sound of a baby crying. A few months passed. The city never sleeps, and neither do we. Fires, crashes, medical calls, they pile up, and you push forward. But some calls don't let you go. The little girl's house was one of those. One late night, around 3 a.m., we got a dispatch. Vacant structure fire, possible squatters inside. Address, the same block. My chest tightened. When we arrived, smoke was pouring from the back of the house, the same house. The one that had been boarded up, supposedly abandoned. The fire had reignited. Maybe kids had broken in, maybe vagrants, maybe faulty wiring. But the second I saw those familiar blackened walls, I knew I had unfinished business here. We forced entry. My mask sealed, my air pack hissing, I stepped back into that nightmare. The heat was unbearable, the flames chewing through what little wood remained. And then, beneath the roar of the fire, I heard it again. A baby crying. It cut through everything, the crackle, the alarms, even my pounding heart. "Diaz!" I shouted through the mask. "You hear that?" He shook his head. "No! Keep moving!" But I couldn't. I followed the sound, deeper into the house, into the same hallway where I had found her crib months ago. There was no crib now, just ash and collapsed beams. But the crying was louder, echoing, surrounding me. My pulse spiked. Every instinct screamed that I was wasting precious seconds, but I couldn't turn away. I knelt, brushing aside debris, my gloved hands shaking. "Where are you?" I muttered, my voice breaking inside the mask. Then I saw it. Half buried under the rubble was a stuffed animal, the same one I had seen clutched in the mother's hands at the funeral. Singed, blackened, but still there. And the moment I touched it, The crying stopped. The fire roared back into focus. Diaz grabbed my shoulder, yanking me to my feet. "We gotta go now." I clutched the stuffed animal against my chest as we stumbled out into the night. The house collapsed minutes later, sparks flying into the sky like fireflies. When I ripped off my mask outside, gulping the cool night air, I looked down at the toy. Charred, melted in places, but unmistakable. How the hell had it ended up back inside that house? I never told Diaz. I never told anyone at the department. But I still have that stuffed animal, tucked away in the bottom of my locker. Some nights, when the station is quiet and the guys are asleep, I swear I hear it again. The faint sound of a baby crying. And I wonder if she's still reaching out. Or if I just left a piece of myself in that house the night I carried her out. Thanks for watching. That's how this story ended, with fire, loss, and an echo that never left me. Have you ever carried something from your work that haunted you long after the shift was over? Drop your story in the comments. Someone out there needs to hear it. And if this hit you deep, like and subscribe. More real stories, raw, emotional, and unforgettable, are coming soon.